Hello, good morning or good afternoon, good evening. I guess it depends on when you end up watching this. Hello and welcome. I'm going to grab my lighter. Today I'm going to do a little bit of a guided meditation, a little bit of energy healing with Reiki, all sort of focused on letting go and the wisdom. Sometimes it feels like a challenge, but the wisdom in not having to always figure out the why, just giving yourself that permission to move forward. And this one is a challenge. I know that. I am going to pull up my meditation. I wrote a little bit of I wrote a meditation for this, and just a little bit of notes for myself so I don't go, off the rails or whatever. But I had written a blog, I think, for my newsletter last week, and I titled it, "If I Understand It, It Won't Hurt Anymore." And I think most people have felt that way, that if I just understand why this is happening, the cycles that are closing or the chapters that are ending or being asked to release the old, if I just could like wrap my brain around it, it would hurt less. And the reality is, it doesn't. It doesn't hurt less. And we actually can create, or at least I know I have created so much more stress for myself when I just mentally rehash the why over and over again, especially when it's like, why are these things happening in my life right now? And having a little bit of comparison of, and not others. And it's not true. We've all been through challenging times. It's not that anyone ever escapes having a challenging experience. And the reality is, if I do understand it, it may not actually make it hurt less. So I wanted to explore this through meditation, through Reiki. I am actually going to record the meditation separately because I know sometimes the sound isn't as good when I'm just going live. But oh, and I probably should introduce myself. If we haven't met, I'm Mary from River Journey Wellness. I've been a holistic therapist for over 27 years. And about 10, 11 years ago, I started blending in the things that helped me on my journey, my personal growth journey: meditation, energy healing, moving with the cycles, the rhythm of nature, the seasons of nature. Right now, we're in winter in the Northern Hemisphere. So kind of aligning ourselves to that energy, just helping our life flow a little bit better. So if we haven't met, hello. Again, I'm Mary. And if you are coming back, if you've already met me, already worked with me, hello. I'm glad that you're here. I'm always excited to see friends. I do have a little bit of a chat. You're welcome to, if you have any questions, anything comes up for you, you can always put a message down in the chat. While I'm doing the meditation Reiki, I may not be checking the chat. Might not be able to kind of go there and read those comments, but you're welcome to put anything that you want in there. So we're going to explore a little bit about how can we pause that pressure of completely understanding the why? How can we break free of the chains of fear and uncertainty? How can we untangle our inner expectations, especially if they're unrealistic or unspoken from those external outcomes? Um, it is easier said than done. I know I've said that, but I feel like with everything, it's a practice, right? We just have to keep trying, I don't know, practicing, for lack of a better word, so that we can get a little bit better at understanding why things are coming up for us and what we need to attend to, where we really need to put our energy and attention. So this is a really challenging time, I feel like, for so many people, especially for those of us in the US. And I don't want to minimize that there are some challenging things that come up in our lives. Um, but I do want to just offer this as maybe something to help you ground, something to help you get back to a sense of steadiness, feeling like you're in personal control of yourself, because that's the only thing that we really can control. So I like to start with a little bit of sage just to cleanse and clear the energy, opening our energy up, but then also letting our guides and guardians know, it's loud and bright in my face, that we're asking for their support and their guidance. Whoops. I'm lighting just a little piece of sage. I found out over and over again that my smoke detectors are very sensitive, so I only light a little bit at a time and then let just a little piece burn while we're doing the work. I know you can't smell the sage. I just love the smell. It's very grounding to me. Helps me get back grounded and centered. So, if you're ready for a little bit of meditation, I invite you to get comfortable, whatever position is right for you, whether it's sitting up or laying down. There's no right or wrong for this one. And whatever feels right for you, whether it's closing your eyes, keeping them open, and just softening the gaze. Again, there's no right or wrong that you have to worry about. But I'm going to invite you just to take a deep breath in through the nose and an easy exhale through the mouth. And again, just inhaling again. And just beginning to invite in awareness of the attention moving from the external back to the internal. Settling your body through breath, releasing any expectation that you do this perfectly. Just allowing yourself that time that you need to move away from distraction and back to presence. And just begin moving your awareness from your breath to your body. Notice where you're being supported, if it's by a chair, by the floor, your bed, or the earth beneath you. And on your next exhale, just sink a little deeper into receiving that support. It just allows us to loosen up any tension that is in the body, softening, relaxing the body. And now just gently bring to mind something in your life that is completing, is closing, feels like it's changing. You don't need to focus on the details or the inner narrative. Just notice the sensations that come with this ending without judgment, without criticism, without blame, without shame. Just allowing those sensations to be noticed. Notice where this lives in the body. Is it a particular area? Maybe an area of your body that you've had an issue with before in the past? Does it feel heavy or tight? Maybe tender? Sometimes it can even feel a little neutral. And we're not analyzing why it's there, we're just noticing. So I invite you to place a hand gently over wherever this was felt. Just feeling the warmth and tenderness of your touch. Breathe in your connection to yourself in this moment. Releasing any thoughts of separateness, any distressing thoughts. Reminding yourself that you are safe and that this is time just for you. And that you're practicing compassionately tending to yourself. And silently affirm for yourself, I release the need to fully understand. And let those words land, not as a demand, not forcing a shift, but simply as permission. Permission to let go. Just curious about how that might feel for you to be able to let go. And if your mind starts to churn out, starts to try to grasp for reasons or explanations, meet that with kindness and softly return your attention back to your breath. And gently affirm, I allow what is to be. And now in your mind's eye, imagine placing the ending, the cycle, the chapter into your open palm without pushing it away, without crushing it, without clinging to it. Allow it to be held lightly, like a feather or a flower petal resting in your palm. And notice the difference between gripping and allowing. Notice the subtle shift that comes from loosening your hold. It's okay if we allow the pain and grief that comes with endings to arise. Knowing that our emotional freedom blossoms as we release our attachment to a different outcome. And imagine allowing that feather or that petal to gently blow away. moving your attention away from your palm and bring your attention to your center, whether it's your heart, whether it's your belly, maybe even your inner knowing. But simply affirming to yourself, my power lies here, and I do not need the why to move forward. Feel into that steadiness, into that truth. Notice the difference between the sensations of the ending, that false narrative of fear and pain, versus the steadiness of the truth in your personal power, your power that still pulses within you no matter what the ending. Let's just take a moment to create a little space. With each inhale, imagine energetic space opening within you and not being filled, just open. And with each exhale, release a little more deeply, letting go, making a little more space of ease as that tension releases. And simply noticing that open space. What instead would you want within that space? Maybe joy, adventure, maybe magic or mystery. Maybe just a moment of fun. Just start planting that seed, that trust. That is something that you can embody, you can receive, you can experience. I'm going to invite you to take one final deep breath in and a long, slow exhale out. And even though it's time to begin to release this meditation, I'm going to encourage you to stay comfortable. Whether again it's seated upright or laying down, because I'm going to send a little bit of Reiki to help integrate that energy. But just know that you can always carry this sense of lightness with you, trusting that endings can be portals. On the other side is an opening. And that freedom often begins the moment that we stop demanding answers. So again, stay comfortable while I begin sending Reiki. And if you're not familiar with Reiki, there's nothing that you have to do. Simply affirming that you're open to receiving. If you are familiar with Reiki and you want to set an intention, if there's something that you do want support, You're welcome to set that intention. You just have to affirm that you're open to receiving. There's a lot in the collective energy right now. Like I said, there's so much. There's so much. You probably are aware. There's so much going on. So I just want to unwind some of that heaviness, that denseness of energy. Sometimes that need to know ends up paralyzing us or feeling like it paralyzes our thoughts and our life. We're stuck in that moment. We, we don't want to give away all of our personal power to that experience. Life may look slower, a bit more quiet. When we're starting to heal from grief or pain of endings. And that's okay. You've got to go at your own pace. When you take time to get still, to get grounded, you sort of are putting up a little block to others' expectations, their pace, their demands, expectations, whatever it might be. And you just return back to, okay, what do I need to do for myself? What am I needing? What is going to ground me? What's going to hold me steady? A practice of meditation is a good place to start. That's not the only way. Sometimes I know for myself, I need to clear what's in my throat. Oftentimes, when I'm repeating that why, it's not so much that I need to know that answer, but I need to know that I'm going to be okay. And so, if I can clear out any of the inner narratives, the old mindset, anything that's keeping me mentally stuck, and verbalize it to myself in a different way, that I'm going to be okay, that I am going to get through this. It does open up space so that I can remember what support I'm needing, what guidance I'm needing. It helps me to circle back and connect again to my personal power. Sometimes we get stuck on those whys. If we see that there's a pattern, we notice that this has happened before, is it going to happen again? I think that's one of the big, big fears for a lot of people. I'm going to just do a little bit more clearing. I'm going to go back to the heart and to just do a little bit of clearing. And I'm actually going to use 2 different crystals. One to clear again, because it brings up, sometimes it can bring up, questions, especially if it's something that we weren't hoping for or expecting. Um, it can bring up stories that we have about our worth, about our value, if we're lovable, that sort of thing. So we want to clear out any of those old stories and just replace it with something more loving, more compassionate. Of course, we're worthy. All beautiful things. We're all worthy of peace. And how we connect to that is sometimes unique to us. We might need a moment of self-compassion or self-kindness. We might need rest. We might need a deeper connection back to the people that we love in our lives. We might need to reconnect back to the universe, creator spirit, whatever you call it. Ultimately, we want to reconnect back to ourselves. Just using some crystals to magnify or amplify the energy. I'm just going to seal that in, seal that energy in. So you can go ahead and take a deep breath in again. Fully and completely letting go of that breath. So hopefully this was a good practice. Again, none of these things are typically one and done, but at least it gets the energy moving, it gets the emotions moving, it it gets us thinking about maybe things in a way that's a little bit more supportive of our needs, um, a little bit more supportive of us. You know, it's not going to, oftentimes, it's not going to alleviate our pain when we do find that why, but how we instead are going to meet that challenge. So, hopefully, this was helpful for you. Again, if you haven't subscribed, I would love you to join us. If you've liked this meditation or the Reiki, I would love to receive a like or a comment, maybe a heart emoji, that we're just all working on that self care and that self love. I'm a small channel, I am trying to grow, and so that always does help. So thank you. And thank you for everybody that does support me, whether it's sending me an email or a private message. Thank you for buying me a cup of coffee. One of my, wow, I don't know if I can consider her a client, another being on a personal growth path, personal growth journey, sent me recently a cup of coffee. So that was fabulous. So thank you. And that's not necessary, just if you enjoy this and want to share it with somebody else, that's great too. That's another way of supporting. If you do feel like you need a little extra support right now, things are feeling a little much, I would love for you to consider joining our Soul Journey Circle membership. It's my membership. I have monthly, quarterly, VIP monthly, VIP quarterly tiers right now are 50% off until actually this Friday, the 16th, January 16th. If you see this at a later date, it may or may not be 50% off still, but you can always join the membership whenever. There is no time that you have to get it done by. It's always open. So we are working on the energy of rest and restoration, stillness, tapping into our inner vision, really just being able to do the work that we need to do internally to get ourselves ready for our next growth phase. Well, spring in the Northern Hemisphere. So I think I put a link in the description box below. Otherwise, it's up in my bio somewhere. But thank you for being with me. I will try to post this as soon as I can. Just the audio. I'll create a separate video just for that, just for the audio of the meditation. Otherwise, I look forward to us connecting again. Take care.